The eyes, man. I got lazy eyes on the
Dude, I thought it was hilarious.
I love it. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh, that's great. That's great. I like the quick clips, so there's no copyright strikes happening on the video.
4.94.
4.94. Oh, of each.
Gotta keep it under 5. Yep.
Under 5 seconds. Wow.
5 and under.
They really worry about that stealing of the music.
I did hear that Maiden is one that's really like they'll get you for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Maiden, Black Sabbath, and Van Halen are like the 3 biggest.
Yeah, they're very very well known. So people, they gotta get that money. They got stage crews to pay, man. they got the crews they got to pay. Welcome everybody to the Heels and Quads podcast under the Heels and Quads media umbrella. A media conglomerate that we are. I just like the Heels and Quads in the top corner spinning like that with the world.
Makes me feel important.
It does. Yeah, I like it. It's got a whole different vibe to it. This
like we're CNN or something.
Yeah.
We can get into it, man.
I guess so, dude. My notes are like okay, but it's Iron Maiden. So
yeah, it's stuff that you know. So I assume I didn't even actually think you would take notes.
On this album, I do. Yeah, on this album I did only because like the Duelists, Back to the Village, those songs are not
those middle songs.
Yeah, those kind of filler songs, and I kind of note that in there, like they're filler, but they're still great songs. It's Maiden, but a lot of the Maiden stuff can, like any band, it can be like, okay, it's another E minor, diggity tiggity diggity tiggity diggity tiggity diggity tiggity, like you're kind of going through the motions, but. So actually you picked this one. I picked
it for you.
You picked it for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does that mean I don't pick the next album then still?
You can pick the next one. I don't care.
I'm good either way, but
I'm down to do whatever as long as I can get material out of you. If I can get content out of you, I don't care what we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. We can do discussions again.
That was the whole point. I was like, let's just get fucking Iron Maiden in here. I can get him at least somewhat interested in
do some content.
Yeah.
I'm down to do discussions and stuff. We don't got to do bi-weekly. We can do every week.
Yeah.
Well, that's a discussion for another day. Not every week. Not every week.
No.
The
shows are better when we take time apart. We've come to realize that.
Yeah, but then I miss you,
Yeah.
I'm saying it on air. It's just I do. I get lonely. So we're doing Iron Maiden's Power Slave from 1984. It was released September 3rd, 1984, and was produced by Martin Birch, who seemingly produced Killers through Fear of the Dark. I believe is what he produced. And then after that,
Fear of the Dark is what, 90?
92 or 93. Okay. I always get it mixed up. Same with No Prayer for the Dying. No Prayer for the Dying is 89 or 90, and Fear of the Dark's 92 or 93. I can never. When I was a kid, I could tell you the dates that they came out. Yeah. But now I got too much shit in my head to remember that kind of stuff. Yeah. But Power Slave, highly regarded as one of their greatest albums, but pretty much all of the 80s albums are, other than No Prayer for the Dying is not anybody's favorite, as far as I know.
No, I'm sure
it's a great album.
Diehard Maiden fan out there that's like,
yes,
that's his be all end all.
Yeah, and it's a great album, but it's not, by that point, the singles and the high points of the record are not as like amazing as, say, Number of the Beast or Power Slave or Somewhere in Time. Like my personal favorite is Somewhere in Time, but it can flip flop with Seventh Son of Seventh Son. Power Slave is a great album though, and if you've never seen the Live After Death, actually, holy shit, and I have this too. I should have put this in now.
And you've got your flag in the background.
Got my flag in the background. I got the Power Slave.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Fig.
The
Little,
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, the little NECA one. I think it's NECA. Super 7.
Yeah.
7.
Those are cool figures, though.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I actually saw some at the. Okay, I gotta set it back on the shelf properly. I got my Maiden guitar picks that I've never opened.
Yeah.
Got let's do a little show off here.
Yeah. Show us what you got.
This was in the windowsill, but this is the Live After Death Eddie figure. He does come with legs, but I don't know where they went. But this is what I was gonna say was if you've never watched the Live After Death, it was the World Slavery Tour in 1984 to 86. I think it was like 2 years, and Live After Death was filmed. I think it was L.A. is where they did that one, and I can't remember what the venue is called, but it's a real popular one. Let me see. Live After Death. Here it is. They did it at. Oh, that's right. Sides 1 through 3 are in the Long Beach Arena in California, and the side 4 is in London at the Hammersmith Odeon.
Ah,
that's right.
I watched part of that today when I was clipping the intro.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I was like, that's from Live. It's like one of their best live shows, and they're all great, but that was like the original staple of Iron Maiden was like Live After Death, man. I still want the vinyl.
The World Slavery Tour for this record, that was the first that they headlined in the States.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was like 2 years long. It was really long. Yeah.
And it was the same year they did the first Rock in Rio because they were like Queen requested them.
Oh, maybe it wasn't 2 years. I thought the World Slavery.
It was a long one, though. It was like
it was August 9th, 84 to July 5th, 85. So, I mean, it was a year.
I mean, it's not terribly long, though. It's pretty normal for a tour.
I think it was the amount of dates that they had on it because in the DVDs, there's the early days part 1, and then part 2 is part of Made in England, 88 is part. I think that's part of that one. It's on my shelf somewhere up there. But the early days tell you kind of stories of it. But it was the World Slavery Tour was so big because it was so many dates and so many places. Like they went all over the place. Yeah. So I guess back then it was really revolutionary. Whereas now, you look at Metallica and they go do the whole world in 2 years, and it's bigger. But they're also much bigger.
But they also take a lot more days off. Like they'll have 2 or 3 days off in a row.
Yeah. So there's
not a ton of bands like big, like Maiden, Metallica, Kiss, like the really big bands that do a show every night anymore. I mean, no, and that's a lot. I mean, because let's face it, they are getting older.
Yeah, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not either, but.
It is what it is. I guess
it's gonna happen to all of us.
But Live After Death is a must watch. But that's kind of a child of Power Slave is that, and that's when my friend's dad saw him live. He told me about it, and anyways, it's definitely. I was actually gonna watch it before this, but I'm gonna watch it after instead. So
it's hard to find a lot of the songs from this record live, like videos.
Yeah,
obviously like the big ones, but then like. Some of them, like that's why there was only a few clips and a couple of songs that I did twice because
because
find a bunch of them. Yeah,
I know Aces High, 2 Minutes Midnight, and Power Slave. They're almost like when I saw them live, they played Power Slave, and they also played, of course, Aces High. I believe 2 Minutes Midnight, but those 3 minutes, 2 Minutes Midnight, and Aces High are on every set list. Whereas Power Slave will kind of alternate. Mm-hmm. It'll be on some, it won't be on some, depending on what's on their set list. But Rime of the Ancient Mariner, I don't know. I know there's footage of it live, but it's not one that's a regular song anymore. I know that. And then like Lost for Words, I don't think I've ever seen them perform that. That's just the instrumental. But Flash of the Blade, The Duelist, Back in the Village. There's probably some footage floating around of maybe World Slavery Tour, but
maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess we should get into it. I'm bad one, but we're talking about Maiden, so you got me all excited. I'll be very honest. I've been listening to every time Metallica comes out with a new record, I get really, really excited and into them. Yeah, and 72 seasons has grown on me, so my review would be totally different today than what it was back then or a couple weeks ago. Some things would stay the same. Most things would stay the same, but
the drums.
There'd be a lot more praise. But the drums, like, I get it, I guess now. It's just that's what Lars does. And yes, Lars is a mastermind of the band. I know he's the brains behind the whole thing. Yes, he's awesome, but the drums were a little much on the record. That's all.
Yeah.
But I want to go see him in St. Louis or in Dallas this year. But anyways, all right, we're talking about Iron Maiden, my favorite band, and I got to get back into them. So I'm going to listen to a bunch of them. Power Slave. It opens up with Aces High, one of the big bangers. Opening with a banger and a permanent setlist track following this album. An iconic guitar line opens the track with just enough drums. Business picks up. Bruce follows the rhythm guitar while Steve thuds away at the bass. The chorus gives us Bruce's flawless highs in fifths with the guitars, I believe. I don't know. I guess I thought I was a music expert, but I mean, it seems like it because it's like his voice and the guitars are making a chord, power chord. A great tune to show someone who hasn't upped the irons. I didn't write a lot about this song because it's Aces High. I mean,
it's kind of one of those ones. Everybody
exactly.
knows.
Yeah. Everybody, like, if you've heard of Iron Maiden or you've at least somewhat listened to them, you know Aces High. You've seen it live if you've seen them live, and it's just I could go on. And then when it picks, that's business picking up. That's what I was referring to. So
that's them going to the pay window.
That's him hitting the pay window. Yeah.
Yep. All right. For me, Aces High. Maiden doesn't waste any time as we're off to the races. Excellent opening track to any album by any band. Everything is here that you expect from Maiden. Galloping bass, ripping guitars, including a fantastic solo, pounding drums, an excellent melody, and of course the vocals. Bruce Dickinson could sing me the phone book and I'd listen. Love the echo on the vocals in the bridge into the chorus. Cool effect and a really nice harmony on the chorus into the squeal.
Your verbiage is always so much better on the notes. Did you write them or did you put them on your phone?
I put them on my phone.
Okay. I thought you were reading off of a tablet for sorry, not a tablet. Paper.
Notebook?
Yeah, notebook.
Nope. I type them out.
Yeah, I know. I thought you might have just went
because like I have like I don't know what it is, like brain spasms or something. I'll forget how to spell the and shit. So I have to
writing's hard for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm like, I gotta type this out. That way I can autocorrect.
Yeah. I'll be writing and I'll put like this and then I'll go to put the and I'll put TE and then I'm like, where the fuck's the H at? Like, why didn't I put that there?
Is it silent?
Yeah, like I think I'm having a seizure or something when I'm writing.
That's what I mean. But,
yeah. Aces High, man. It's just a staple of the Maiden world. It's one of their low key mega hits. Absolutely, big one for metalheads. But pedestrian listeners probably won't know it exactly. Probably one of the most covered Maiden songs. Yeah, all that, every bit of that. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, Muda. That's
100% accurate.
We had probably about a 30 to 45 minute conversation about Maiden the other night. So
you and
I didn't
Muda.
Yeah, Muda. I didn't realize he was that big of a fan of Maiden.
No, I didn't know, but I appreciate it. But that him chiming that in, like that's perfect for the review because that's Aces High would be a song.
If he wasn't at work, he'd probably be on it right now.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like that. Pedestrians would not know it. But if you're a Maiden fan, you know the song. And yes, it is covered a lot. Aces High is almost probably more than Number of the Beast or all the other big, like it's a big one to cover. So probably a little easier to play. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. They're all their solos. Solos are hard. And you know what I mean? I'm a rhythm guitarist, man. I'll learn a solo here and there. But anyways, yeah, Aces High. It's the shit. It's got a star next to it because it's one of the highlights. Then we go into 2 Minutes to Midnight. So we get two singles back to back. Yet another iconic lick from Dave and Adrian to open the track and another staple of Maiden's setlist going forward. The song keeps a nice speedy pace through the verses, hitting an awesome pre-chorus and anthem-y chorus. Steve Harris is always in the mix, nice and clear, and if he isn't, he is laying in there holding the track together. After chorus 2, we get some soloing from Dave and Adrian, leading to a nice bridge with the main riff broken down and some awesome China action on drums. He's doing the those little China sticks in there.
Yeah.
I love me some China, man. Takes us home to another verse and chorus to lead us out to midnight, midnight, it's all right. So, yeah. 2 minutes to motherfucking midnight.
All right. My 1A, 1B, 1C with the Wicker Man and Wasted Years is my favorite. I can never choose. It really depends on the day. After Aces High, 2 minutes doesn't let up. Great driving riffs. Of course, a well-constructed harmonic solo. Honestly, one of my favorite parts is the breakdown after the solo. Kind of gallopy, but also a straight sprint. I feel repetitive, but man, Bruce's range is incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
repetitive after 2 songs.
Yeah. No, but what you said on the first one, and I didn't mention melody enough in my review till the last track.
Right.
But that's Maiden's big thing, man. No matter what, a lot of their songs are in E minor or A, and a lot of major feel to it. And I note that a lot throughout this album because it's got some very like uppity kind of songs on it, but just the melodies are always great. Bruce in the pocket with the bass and the drums and the guitar, like it's all just everything's arranged perfectly. And I think that's why I like them so much too, is because, you know, in the 80s you played to tape and they're just fucking tight, which all bands that were popular were tight, obviously.
Right.
But
yeah.
You know, like it's just to still go out on stage and play it like it's in the studio, like
yeah.
Dude,
and they're one of those bands. You're right. I mean, you listen to the studio album and then you watch a live from any time period.
Nearly identical.
And it's basically the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, the only imperfections are, and it's not even imperfection, but you can tell, you know, the Bruce's vocals are not the same as what's on.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, but otherwise the instruments, like everything's there, man.
Yeah, your vocal cords change so much over time, and he still sounds phenomenal compared to a lot of guys that around, you know, still
that
today.
Age
don't sound that good.
I mean, and to have beaten throat cancer and come back and like almost better, like that's kind of crazy.
And I don't think I mean, other than like sound effects, I don't think there's any like playback with their.
No.
I'm fairly certain they're all live.
That would be a thing that they didn't want to go in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I can tell you right now they're not playing back to tape or anything. Like there's none of that. But anyways, that's that. 2 minutes to midnight. It's a staple, man. It's a must.
It's a good one, man.
And it's like Muda said, it's probably another one that like maybe a little more people might know this one, but I think it's right there with Aces High of like metalheads, rock fans, they know it.
Yeah.
But a pedestrian only knows Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills. Track 3, Lost for Words, Big Aura. I've always wondered what it was, but I think it's Big Aura, like aura or something. We get ourselves a little instrumental action here. What seems to be a Locrian-shaped guitar line in major. See, here I go with my music expertise again. I could totally be wrong about that.
Dr. Levi Medicine Woman.
Here cool track, filling the album up and showing off some musical talent. Love the sound of Steve's bass clanking throughout. And that's really every song. Steve's bass is so prevalent in the mix and like all of Maiden. But, you know, it's been a little bit since I've binged on Maiden and listening to this. I'm just like, dude, you just hear and he's a finger picker, man.
Yeah.
So just you always hear that.
You can tell.
Because you get that clankiness of the strings, and he's the mastermind mostly behind the early days of Iron Maiden. He still kind of is, but he's one of the primary songwriters, always has been. So, yep.
Is that yours?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, baby bass. There's a double clutch in the intro that almost sounds like a beautiful mistake. It's the clanky. Because it's kind of like a boom, boom, and then it's like a dunk. It's like almost like a dull like. He like I don't know if
the pickups.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. I was trying to figure out if it would have been his picking hand or his fret hand, but yeah, it's him.
It's a combo though, man, because basses make some weird fucking noises.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Steve is smart by not letting his bass not get lost in the mix, as the bass is straight in your face on this track. I'm sure in his mind he was playing for that live feel. Strange to have,
of course.
I had to do a callback. Strange to have an instrumental as track 3, but holy shit, it's a good one. Excellent guitar work by Dave and Adrian. Obviously, fun listen.
Yeah, it's it is weird to have an instrumental that early in it, but I mean, one of my favorite instrumentals is Transylvania from the first album, and like dun 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 dun. Like I love that one, man. But anyways, Lost for Words, it's cool. I always forget it's an instrumental because, like I said, Power Slave is a great record, but it's not one that I've always been like obsessed with because it's kind of like I see it as Ryman Ancient Mariner, Power Slave, Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight. Everything else is
you get those 4 tracks, and then you're like,
yeah. And like I'm not saying these are bad, but I always remember Flash of the Blades guitar line, and I'll get to that. But yeah, Lost for Words is cool, man. But it's just instrumental. It's there. They got to show off, and you said Steve's bass is always right there, not in your face, but it's very audible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I always like bands that have audible. The bass is an instrument, not just a rhythm.
Yeah,
part.
I want to hear every instrument that's being played on the song.
Yes.
If something's getting drowned out, then what's the fucking point of even having it on there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the and especially with their music, Maiden's music, playing in E standard, and it's very trebly, midsy, I should say, kind of music, and so the bass could easily be like turned down so it doesn't drown that out. But no, Steve's like, no, you're gonna hear my fucking bass, mate. You're gonna hear my bass. It's gonna be clanking along, But yeah, anyways, Lost for Words is cool. It's one I gotta keep listening to again because although I'm a big Maiden guy, it's not like I know every part of every track, man. It's like Kiss. You can't know every part of every track. I mean,
maybe there's probably a couple like 80s ones that I'm like,
I feel like I've let down everybody by not knowing every little detail.
I don't think so. I don't think
anyways,
so.
Call myself a Maiden fan.
I watch a few Kiss podcasts that they get some shit wrong quite a bit. So
I'm sure,
and I'm like yelling at the TV, like, no, you dummy.
Yeah. Of course, Kiss is what 4 or 5 decades of music now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Flash of the Blade. It's got a star next to it, mainly because of that opening riff. What a sweet fucking guitar lick to open, with some Egyptian feeling chords behind it. The din din din. That main opening riff has been played each and every way, inside out, by 2023, but it's always cool, and I think of Maiden when I hear it all the time. And it's, I wish I could remember the progression of it, but it's like, if you're on a guitar, it's 7th fret, 10th fret, 8th fret. Doodle, 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 doodle. So that would be 5, 7, 6 on a, if you're playing minor chords or notes or whatever. It's 5, 7, 6 in the minor scale. Told you, dude, I'm a fucking music guy.
I did make a note of that riff too.
Okay, yeah. It's a common one. Anyways, that riff. Bridge gives us a swap over to some major key-ish feel versus E minor. The stabs on drums and guitar leads ending the bridge are so cool. Bruce is on point here as always. Aside from the leads and the transitions, we don't really get solos here, and it's okay. Because how do you play a solo on every single song, man?
Right.
So I thought it was cool that it's just more there's like leads, but there's not any ripping solo because they do it on every other song, So anyways, that's that. I've been studying more music theory lately, so that's kind of why I've been mentioning the music thing of it.
Enjoy your vacation, Ashley. We love I wish I could have a vacation.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Enjoy it. Please enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it for us. Flash of the Blade. First of all, fucking badass name for a song. Mm-hmm. The melody of the guitars and harmonies on the vocals stand out the most, like we've been talking about this whole album. Great driving song. Listening for the 4th time all the way through and taking notes this time. Might be my favorite Maiden record. Somewhere in Time, obviously. Also, we've covered it way back when we tried a new thing and it didn't work, but we did cover Somewhere in Time. I'd like to revisit that, though.
Yeah, I'd love to.
It's tough, but it's something about the production and mixing on this record that's absolutely perfect. The riff that you were talking about before reminds me. That Ace Frehley plays that same riff in his solo, the smoking guitar and everything.
Oh,
like his actual guitar solo, he does that. Yeah. And then he shoots off the little rocket out of his guitar and like blows up a little balloon with like streamers in it.
Is that your
yeah,
review?
That's it.
See,
Yeah.
This is in D standard. Oh, it's a 7th string, but it's in D standard as far as the 6th goes. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. It's just in a different tune. But yeah, it's a common one. But yeah, that too, the mixing, and Martin Birch having mixed it since Killers, like I said, I believe since Killers up until Fear of the Dark, that's why like you get that consistency in all those albums of production. It's like, don't fucking change it, mate. Keep it the same, yeah? So that's how their music stay. Like it's just all their big songs, man, and all their records are so consistent with the mix until you get that 90s period with which it's still very similar, and then you get the 2000s with the newer guy. He's been producing it, I think, since Brave New World, and I can't remember his name. I'll look at it here in a second. But yeah, production's just great, dude. And yes, Power Slave is up there for one of my favorites just because of how legendary it is. But it's one that it's like one of my least favorites, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's not my I like it, but
Kevin Shirley, does that sound familiar?
Kevin Shirley, yeah.
Okay.
That's the guy from, I think, Brave New World onward.
Yeah, that was Brave New World. He was on.
I think if you go to Dance of Death and all that.
Dance of Death, Kevin Shirley.
Mm-hmm. Final Frontier.
Kevin Shirley.
Okay. Yeah. And he did do some Jetsu as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So since 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. And Steve Harris gets credited on one of them. I think it's the X Factor, and it's a different producer, but it's a different producer and Steve Harris.
Yeah.
And then Virtual 11, I think, is a similar situation.
Yeah, it's them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, Flash of Blade's a cool track, man. It's a really cool track. And that, I like to think of them as the pioneers of that. The Duelists. Cool halfway point for the album, but it does kind of fall in that filler category. Not because it's bad, but rather it's in a tough album list. Open to the track has a cool rhythm leading into the verse. Pre-chorus / chorus gets that classic major feel to a Maiden song to build it up. Bruce has his last word of the verse wail going on as well, where it's, da, da, he likes to lead up to that big wail, We get about 2 minutes or more of instruments after 2 runs of the verse and chorus. The instrumental section is very Maiden melodic, and I love it. Dave and Adrian trade leads back and forth, Nico and Steve holding it down. One of those instrumental / solo sections that gives you the feels. And again, I love the audible Steve Harris bass clank and tone. Imagine getting finger blasted by him. But it has. I was digging the Duelists in that little kind of instrumental section there where the guitarists are showing off and all that, and it's the guitar parts, but it just gives you just the melodic feel to a lot of their songs. It gives you that just gives you that feeling like you want to go pick a car up or something, or you want to cry, you want to be angry, you want to be happy. Like they know how to do it all.
It gives you something.
Yeah. This one was bluesy, I think, too. I think I forgot to note that, but I think the Duelist was a little bluesy. All of them are a little bluesy.
Yeah, I think this one was a little bluesy. Another driving song. That Gallop is so badass. Steve Harris may be the best metal bassist as far as technique. Dude seemed to have it all together. Another great standout performance from Bruce, like you mentioned. When he comes down from the highs and more into his low register, it sounds a bit like Dio, which should be held to the highest regard. The bass during yet another excellent solo has a great do sound to it.
Yeah.
Another one of those clankers.
But
it's Buddadoo. But do.
I'm with you because I have a bow ba on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, we're right there together.
Same wavelength.
You said something. Is that it?
Yeah.
You said something there that I think doesn't get said enough, but it's always Rob Halford. It's always Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson, Rob Halford. People don't ever mention that, and I've thought this but never said it. And I'm glad you did because Dio and Bruce have some similarities in their vocals, especially in the highs. Yeah. Yep. Very much so in those like just kind of always on the always on some kind of wail.
That vibrato.
The vibrato, yes, that's what I was looking for. They both have that going on, and they could like Bruce could sing Dio songs and Dio could sing Maiden songs, if he was still around or whatever.
And I make another note of it later on.
They're almost not interchangeable, but they would be good in each band.
Yeah.
It could be Bruce and Dio Maiden, or whatever. But yeah, anyways, I'm glad you made that comparison because it's very true. So yeah, The Duelist is a cool track, man. It's a cool track.
We got Robot-y for a second. Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good. You're good.
We good?
Are you good?
Okay, cool.
I'm good.
Yeah. We got really Robot-y. It was like.
I like that. It was Dio. He was chiming in. He popped in for a minute.
Maybe it was, dude. That'd be crazy.
And if he did, that'd be
got
cool.
Live After Death, 1985, playing in the background. Sure, y'all have it, but posted the link for it on the Twitter machine. P.S. Do love the Ronnie James Dio.
From Central New York, yeah.
Yeah.
He, a guy I worked with at my last job, Dio was from his hometown or very close to it, I believe. And he said when Dio was with Elf back in the early days, I think it was Elf was the name of it.
Yeah, late 60s.
Said that. Yeah, it was like he'd play shows in the area because he was just a local guy. But Dio is huge in that area.
And he played the recorder.
Yeah. I mean, this guy loved him because he's a short Italian dude, and Dio's
shout out
a short Italian dude, and it was pretty cool. But he played Dio a lot. I have the Dio collection on CD, but we didn't do some Dio again on here. Maybe a little off kilter album.
Yeah, I'm in Syracuse, and he's from Homer. Cortland.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, because where's this? I can't remember where dude said he was from, but. And then how far is Hackensack?
That's a ways. That's Jersey. That's a way. Yeah.
But I mean, like, how many hours is that to get there? Was that 10 hours? 8?
Can't be that long. Probably 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it's not that far. Because 10 hours is here to Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's not that far, but all right.
Back in the Village.
Back to the Village. Track 6. Back to the Village. Intro with a very hard rock feel. Back to the Village. Bruce can make anything sound great, especially in his prime, which is apparently still going. Mid-song lead and solo section rips as usual. Dave and Adrian are an iconic duo. Love the use of some whammy in the bow 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 slidey part. Very almost 70s rock here, but a cool track nonetheless. And of course, making the major key sound hard in some sections of it. They have a very major feel to them at times. It's not always like a sad. They have that upbeat kind of feel a lot of times, but they make it sound hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fucking hard, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
But that's Back to the Village. This one was bluesy too. That's where I got that hard rock vibe from as well. That kind of not necessarily metal, but like a hard rock bluesy feel.
Yeah. And I've got a note on that. Guitar intro has a southern rock on meth, which makes sense because that's common in the South. And after a short time, it turns into that galloping melody again that we know Maiden for. Mm-hmm. The squeal on tables start to bang.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wowie.
Yeah, it is.
Nico's drumming shouldn't go overlooked here. he makes it sound easy, but it's not. The beat into the rolls are fun. Like when he's just kind of keeping time. And
Yeah.
I love that. Abrupt ending with back in the village, back in the village, back in the village again. I don't know why I noted it. It was like I wasn't used to that fast paced finish for the.
It was like that though, how it just kind of went out. You like look down, you're like, oh shit, the song's about to end. Back in the village. That's it. That too, I didn't say that enough in here, but because I'm sure I'll say it in other Maiden reviews to come. But Nico is a unsung hero of this band, and I think I shouldn't say that because obviously people know he's badass. But
yeah,
that dude is a great fucking drummer. Like his stuff is got to be hard to play, but yeah, he fills it in where it needs to be filled in, and does it just right. And it's like he could. And he does it effortlessly. Like you just watch him playing, and he's having a good old time. Just he's smiling, doing all kinds of crazy shit.
That's what I mean. He makes it sound and look like it's so easy,
effortlessly. Yeah. And Clive Burr was an amazing drummer as well.
Yeah.
But Nico is definitely he's the man. Like he's awesome. You know, he has that, which Clive has that legacy with Maiden too, because he was on the pioneer, the first couple albums, laid the groundwork, you know, and then Number of the Beast, of course, which is still the biggest one. But yeah, Nico's crazy, and I didn't note it enough in here because I guess I didn't listen to the drums as much as I did the music because there's so much going on. But the drums are
and owns a restaurant,
and he owns a restaurant. Yeah, that's right.
I was like looking through stuff and I found that and I sent you the menu. It's like, what the fuck?
I think it's all like metal stuff on the menu. Yeah.
It's like a biker bar type of thing.
Yeah. He's a tall dude too, but he's the oldest in the band, if I remember correctly. He's the oldest guy in the band.
He looks
it. Yeah. Yeah, he can.
But he also looks cool.
Yeah, he's fucking cool as shit, man. Let me see. Nico McBrain. How old is he? 65, probably? 70. He's 70.
He's always been like kind of smaller guy, like as far as like he's like lanky, you know, like he's tall, but
he's tall. I was gonna say he's a tall dude, but he is lanky. He's got that drummer thing going.
Because like in the old like the 80s videos, like he's always like he looks like really skinny.
Yeah. And you watch his drum cams,
like the potato sticks, you know, those in the can.
Yes.
It looks like
what do you call them? Shoestring fry type things.
Yeah.
If you watch his drum cams live, he's always just having a good old time. He'll be talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, keeping everything going. But he's badass. Track 7, the title track, Power Slave. One that does still get played live. Egyptian feel to this one for sure, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why I have to be a power slave. Dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. Maiden has always had this slight progressiveness to them, and this album seems to have them lean into it a bit on songs, and not just this one, because Peace of Mind's got that too, but this one kind of, between this and Rime of the Ancient Mariner and then Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son, like they're very proggy in some areas, just with arrangement changes and the way the song will switch up and key changes, things like that. But anyways, they've always had a slight prog feel to them, and this album seems to be where they lean into it a bit on songs, this being one of them. I love the second chorus straight into the chill part with some nice bass and vibey leads. Then we kick it up another notch and shred over some sweet rhythms, as usual, because that's what bands do. Thanks for noting that, Levi. This is when Bruce.
Any more brain busters?
Yeah. This is when Bruce is entertaining the crowd. And like, the instrumentals are happening. He's running all over the stage, being all excited and just having a fucking great time. Energy's through the roof on that guy.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened. We go right back to the verse and chorus and feel right back at the pyramids. Outro lead is a nice touch as well. A little lead in the outro, It's not just sending us home. It's sending us home with a little diddly diddly.
With a little something something.
So yeah, Power Slave's a sweet track, man. It's one of those really, really cool, not single, but kind of kind of a single.
Yeah.
In a way. Live set.
A staple.
It's a staple. Yeah.
Ooh, spooky. Another one that seems to creep up in my playlist around Halloween time. Definitely the most different from everything else on the album.
Yeah.
Very Number of the Beast. Nothing wrong with that. That just shows the chain of successful albums that they had during the early to mid 80s and then, forever. But you know what I mean. The big ones are right there. Yeah. The meat and potatoes. I'll use our favorite word to describe the solo. Ominous.
I thought you were going to say live feel.
Seems to be one that maybe Metallica were inspired by. The solo and breakdown sounds like something they would do later on. Obviously, they were already around, but,
Yeah.
I'm sure they were still listening to fucking Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were inspired by Iron Maiden. Sabbath, Maiden, Thin Lizzy, all that good stuff. But, yeah, Maiden was an inspiration for people at that time, too. Shit, man. They were the new wave of British heavy metal. Them and Judas Priest were kind of the leaders of that. There's a lot of other guys there, so metal elitists will be pissed about that. But
but whatever.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, you want to voice your opinion, have your own fucking show.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I do
chime away in the comments.
I do remember this being played live when I saw him live, and I probably still have a video of it somewhere on my Google Photos or whatever, but Google Photos, because you got to pay for Apple stuff. But Power Slave is a cool track.
Yeah,
it's a really cool track, and it does have that spooky, ominous thing going on, that Egyptian mummy, all that stuff.
Rattling tits,
hell yeah. And what's the other one? There's another one on there that was good. Okay, we take it home with the 8th track on the album. And also, if you look at Iron Maiden's earlier catalog, aside from the first 2 albums, Number of the Beast, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, there's a lot of 8-track records. 8 tracks. I think there's 9 or 10 on Peace of Mind. But yeah, 8 songs was kind of the sweet spot back then for them. But yeah, and this one, it had to be 8 songs.
Because it was 51 minutes.
Yeah. And this last song is 13 and some change.
Yeah.
But in the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. The song is called Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and it's basically just a whole story. The prog stuff I talked about previously really comes out here. Definitely one of the coolest tracks on the album, just long. Sailing on and north across the sea. Like, I love that part. That part is so fucking cool and heavy feeling. And when I say heavy feeling, it's just heavy, like on you. The energy of it is just heavy. The way they sync up and the way he sings that part with the instruments, God, it's fucking good. We get the feel change with their with there goes the mariner. We get the field change with that part. There goes the mariner. There does a dig-a-ding, 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 dig-a-ding. With the cool quick breaks in the music as well. The change in the song at 5 minutes or so becomes sort of like a movie score.
Yeah, it kind of dulls out and then it kind of comes back in.
It's like sound effects and kind of, so that's part of the song being as long as it is. It's got that mid, like it's like the narrated lyrics and the story that's going on. Like if you read the lyrics, it's a whole story. Man.
Yeah, well, I read it was based on a poem.
Yeah. Even some women cackling during that. I guess I noted that too. There was like one little second because I listened to this one with my headphones on. There was a woman cackling in that. At about 7 minutes and 35 seconds, we get a bass line and drums, then Bruce to continue the story. Then the spell starts to break is really cool. Oh, yeah, I have it quoted. And then the spell starts to break is really cool. How the bass plays with the vocals there. And the way it's starts to break, it's like the bass like do, like it plays a bass line to the last like 3 words of what he says. It's pretty cool. It's something you got to kind of notice. I guess it was the headphones. Love the section after this part where it feels like the journey is coming to an end, like the big go home moment or battle, because it's very epic feeling. Casually they lead back to the original riff and vocal pattern. The melodies in the song are so fucking great. The band and Bruce just make the most beautiful, sad, epic shit. Whatever it is, whatever adjective, they make it.
Yeah.
And this is one of them where it has all these different sections in it, but each one serves a purpose. So like this is a 13-minute song where it's like, yeah, it's 13 minutes, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, because there's layers to it.
There's layers.
It's not just this one long, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This song would have easily fit on the Holy Diver record. I told you I'd come back to Dio.
Yeah, there we go.
But it's Maiden, and it's almost a tightened up feel as opposed to their traditional gallop. By like tightened up, I mean like it's a shorter gallop. It's like a light jog on the bass and the guitars. Again, can't say enough about Bruce's vocal range and delivery. Holy shit, he nails it on this song. I mean, he's great closer, very long, but it doesn't change anything. It's a great fucking song.
Yeah, this is one.
I mean, after listening to it 4 times in one day, though, I was like, okay, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, because it gets a little tiresome. And I did actually just listen to it once because I have listened to this one a lot, but I did listen to it just once. It was probably like 5:20, and then I did my notes, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Let's go.
Yep.
But it's a sweet track, sweet record, man. And the stars, you know, on my stuff here, I always put a star next to it. Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Flash of the Blade, 2 Minutes Midnight, Aces High, and Power Slave.
Yeah, so I would agree with those.
Yeah, those are kind of the highlights of it. The other tracks, like, you know, they're cool. They're great tracks.
Listen to the whole record, though. Like, listen to it all the way through.
Yes, front to back.
Yeah, and you're not. I mean, that one change where I noted, like, wait, this is the only like really different song. Yeah. But I mean, I guess Rime of the Ancient Mariner is a little different, but it's more of like a war cry kind of song.
Yeah. So. It's like the precursor to like what they do now. Like Rime of the Ancient Mariners, like Senjutsu's songs are like that.
Yeah.
And Book of Souls' songs were like that. And not all of them to that extent where it's like, you know, 4 different sections of the song that are different. But it's, you know, that prog feel. It's very progressive as the changes go, you know, telling stories and whatnot. But yeah, I can see why it's a lot of people's favorite Maiden record. And like I said, it's up there with my favorites, but it's one of my least favorites of my favorites.
Gotcha.
Just because, you know.
So like a lower high tier for you.
Like if it's like if it's in the top 5, it's like 4 or 5.
Gotcha.
You know, of the records, which actually that'd probably be pretty accurate for Power Slave to be like 4 or 5 in my top 5 Maiden records. That'd be it. But it's tough because Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of Seventh Son, those are pretty neck and neck. And they're the same situation. Like there's many songs that outshine the others for me. And then there's other ones where I'm like, it's a cool song, but it's like, it's just an album flooded with great songs. So it's hard to, you know, it's hard to love every single one of them. But if I listen to it over and over again, I would. I just have to do that. It's just like, you know, everything grows on you.
Every fan of any band has, I mean, the record could be phenomenal, top to bottom. You're still going to have that one track where you're like,
Yeah.
At least one.
I mean, you have to.
Because, I mean, there's Kiss records where I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't need to listen to that again. I've heard it 1,000 times.
Exactly.
Like, people love, like, from the first record, Firehouse, for example.
Yeah.
I like it live because Gene breathes fire at the end, but other than that, I can do without it.
You like the show.
Yeah, I can do without that song.
Anyways,
we hit an hour. Let's go.
Yeah, let's take her home. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for your input, everybody in the chat. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's very nice and interactive. But yeah, it was nice to do this one. I'm glad you picked this one for me.
Yeah, we'll come back to Maiden again.
Yeah, we'll get some Maiden again. We'll come back to Kiss. We'll do Kiss. You know, I'm excited to do a Kiss album, not versus something. I'm excited to do one where it's just a Kiss album.
Ryan's real quick before we go. The skip song or pee break if it's live, but I do enjoy this album from pillar to post.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We are Heels and Quads. You can sign up our Patreon, and I'll read off the list here in a second. Patreon.com/Heels and Quads. Appreciate all the people over there that support us and are on shows with Tommy and I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, sign up for Patreon. You can start a podcast with me.
Yeah.
Because the 45 I have right now aren't enough, apparently.
Patreon.com/Heels and Quads. We got Eric, the Great Muda, Sweet Baby James, Dan, Tim, Lori, Amanda, Rob, Kenny, and Sal.
And I know he won't watch it, but happy birthday, Dan. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Dan. Happy birthday.
And let's see real quick.
We'll do our monthly hangout next Tuesday? Monday, Tuesday?
I'll have to get back on you.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine.
We got baseball games on Mondays and Tuesdays usually, so
we can.
I'll have to double check. Yeah,
just check it out. We'll squeeze it in. We'll do the hangout. But yeah, if you sign up for Patreon, you get to hang out with us once a month and do. Tommy does all kinds of stuff. Tommy's more involved than me, but I am there for a hangout. You know.
Yeah, he's always there for the hang.
Yeah, I gotta at least do that. You know, I know I'm a lazy prick. I'm a sack of shit that doesn't put anything in. But you know, I try.
Hey, at least you're getting better about texting.
Yeah, and most of the time, if I don't message you back, it's literally because I look at the text, I read it, and I go, "Oh, cool," and then I get a text, a call, or I get distracted, a squirrel. I get off of it, and then I see it 8 hours later. I'm like, "Oh shit!" And that's when I text you back 8 hours later, is because I'm like, I forgot to text him back. It happens with everybody.
It doesn't bother me. I know you'll eventually get back to me, or as long as. Oh yeah, I did see that. Like the next time we talk, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that, and I forgot to text you back." You're pretty good about that.
Yeah, I acknowledge my fuck ups. You know, I'm gonna go. You know,
you gotta eat dinner.
I do gotta do dinner. I'm gonna figure out if I'm going to get a Euro because I really want one.
I think you're gonna go get one.
I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should.
I'll eat one for. I'm gonna eat one for me. I'm gonna eat one for you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Tell your enemies.
We'll see you next time. Thank you,
everybody.